Casey Kasem was an American icon, the beloved creator of American Top 40 Countdown. When he died 4 years ago, his wife and adult children became embroiled in an epic family feud.
48 Hours, Peter Van Sant has a story of competing claims of cruelty and neglect with a fortune at stake.
This is Casey Kasem in Hollywood on American Top 40.
From his American Top 40 Countdown.
Coming, Scoob!
To Scooby-Doo's pal Shaggy.
Here it comes!
Everyone knew that voice. Jeannie Thompson, his second wife.
We're gonna miss the bus!
And a star of the hit TV show Cheers, grew up listening to him.
I heard this DJ come on, and I went, oh my God, who is this guy?
Casey also had 3 kids from his first marriage, Carrie, Mike, and Julie. But they would have a strained relationship with their new stepmom. After more than 30 years of marriage, Casey was diagnosed with a debilitating Parkinson's-like disease. It was then, his children say, Jeannie cut off their access to him.
Starting in 2012 is when I felt that the isolation began.
Jeannie says his children began a campaign of harassment.
We have been stalked, tracked, bullied.
The family feud escalated when Carrie says Jeannie put Casey's health at risk by taking him out of a rehab facility.
Gene Kasem pulled my dad out at 2:30 in the morning out of a convalescent center, unhooked his G-tube, unhooked his IV.
In 2014, Kasem's family discovered that Gene had moved Casey to Washington State. Armed with a court order to hospitalize their dad, this bizarre showdown occurred between Carrie and Jeannie.
In the honor of King David, I submit to you.
What person in their right mind throws frozen meat at you, screaming biblical verses?
To the dogs, to the dogs.
In June 2014, Casey Kasem died. The family battle went nuclear.
Jean killed my father.
When you say killed, do you mean murder?
What she did led to his death.
They chemically restrained him. They removed his hydration, his nutrition.
Each side has sued, blaming the other for Casey's death. And there's even been drama during depositions. The case is scheduled for next year. A court may decide who gets Casey's fortune.
I'm not going to quit. I'm the daughter of a Marine, and what they did was wrong.
If someone killed your father, wouldn't you want justice? Take the money. Take it all. I want her in jail.
CBS News was unable to find any records substantiating Jeannie's accusations of harassment. We've also learned that police in the small town of Gig Harbor, Washington, are taking another look at Casey Kasem's death. It is not a homicide investigation, but they are going through his medical records and conducting interviews, trying to determine how he died. 48 Hours correspondent Peter Van Sant joins us now. Man, what a crazy story. Mm-hmm.
This is,
and you've known Kasem for a while.
I met him some years ago when we were doing an hour on the Robert Blake murder case. I met Jeannie and Casey then. This is a family feud of epic proportions. I've never, in interviewing two sides of a family, seen more hatred toward one another, which fuels a lot of this. But a lot of money has been spent. Jeannie hired a private investigator who concluded that there was murder, that this was a homicide, and they're heading into court next year. In March, they'll be in the courtroom, both having filed wrongful death lawsuits.
But you say it's angry, but it's like it's anger and resentment, but it sounds like it's about money.
Well, we heard one of the daughters say, it's not about money, you can take the money, but you always hear also follow the money, and I wonder what happened with his will and his assets. Who ended up getting the money?
Yeah.
The money, a lot of this is in abeyance right now. Their $43 million mansion sits empty and kind of falling apart these days. All of this is in a trust, and it's being until this litigation is solved. And by the way, Carrie's claim that this isn't about the money, of course, they are seeking unspecified damages, and if their wrongful death lawsuit were to prevail, they would likely get the lion's share of the $80 to $100 million. So for both sides, obviously, money and legacy is very important.
Yeah.
There's another wrinkle, another mystery. Where is the body? Where is he buried?
Not in Hollywood. You'd think maybe in Forest Lawn, where he lived in Hollywood for more than 50 years and was an American icon. He is in an unmarked grave in Oslo, Norway. And a woman named Anki goes there once a month. She's a Swedish fan, decorates his grave. We have video. She shoots it on an iPhone. And Casey's children have never seen their father's grave.
It is such a shame.
Why is he there?
Jean says she cannot talk about this because of the legal circumstances, but the kids think it's all out of spite so that they can't visit their father's grave.
Well, it certainly sounds like you buried him as far away from Hollywood as you could possibly get to. I just can't help but to think just how heartbreaking this is. These are clearly two people who loved him, two groups of people who loved him desperately, and to have it come to this is just so sad.
And that optimistic voice of his, I listened to him when I was a
of course,
kid.
we all did.
And to think it's at this point is sad.
Yeah.
Peter, thank you very much. What a really incredibly troubling story. Looking forward to seeing it on 48 Hours. You can watch the full report Saturday night at 10, 9 Central, only on CBS.